Today we're doing another recipe sponsored by the good folks at Ice House, and today we will be using their frozen sweet potato cubes and the frozen Dasheen bush, or as we know it, Callaloo bush. The recipe that I'm doing is actually a recipe that I have on the website already, and it's something that I did already, which is a sweet potato pie with Callaloo. We're gonna jump into it one time. So I have the sweet potato cubes, and I'll be using this to make the sweet potato pie. And in the back of this, I have a nice little recipe here for cinnamon spice sweet potato casserole with toasted marshmallow. So if you want to try that, you can try that recipe out. And we're doing Callaloo, and there is a recipe for Trini Callaloo in the back here. And truth be told, the recipe that I am doing, which is my recipe, is, very similar to this. So, I mean, we all know Trini Callaloo. You really have, certain things that must be or should be in there to make it Callaloo. So I have all the usual suspects, the pumpkin, the okra, and that kind of thing. And the great thing about this is that the Ice House Dasheen bush and the sweet potato cubes is going to lend that convenience that these products are known for and cut down considerably on the prep time. So I don't have to go through cutting up and cleaning no Callaloo bush, and I don't have to go through peeling and cubing my sweet potato because that's already done for us. Straight from the freezer into the pot, you know the drill. We jump into it one time. So we're going to start with the Callaloo because the Callaloo is going to take a little longer to cook than our sweet potato pie. So I'm going to open it here and just show you the inside. And as you can see, we have our frozen Callaloo bush already cleaned and chopped up, so we don't have to go through that drama. And of course, as I said before, I have all my other ingredients here already prepped, my onion, garlic, you know the works, you know how it is go. So yeah, we're ready to go. Let me go to the pot one time and get this Callaloo started. So we're starting off with a little bit of vegetable oil in our pot, and some people don't saute their veggies when they're making the Callaloo. I would tell you, this is an essential step. You need to saute the aromatics and your veggies to break down the natural sugars in them and get all that intense flavor built into your Callaloo. Yes, you could achieve this from just boiling, but cooking is chemistry, and I find, in my opinion, sauteing is better than boiling. So saute first, and then you'll get to the boiling part after. So starting off with the onions. And I want to saute this for about a minute. So now that we have a little color going on the onions, going in with the garlic, some ginger, and usually, you'd use pimentos when you're doing your Callaloo, but I had some chilies in the fridge, so I add in some chilies. And these are actually very spicy, so I might not need to add any Scotch bonnet pepper to this. This should provide enough heat to my Callaloo. And I mean, yeah, I like my Callaloo spicy. If you don't like your Callaloo spicy, then, just use pimentos and it'll be good. Now I added my okra and my pumpkin. And if you notice, I cut the pumpkin into small cubes and I cut the okra into thin slices. And that's because you want this to cook down quickly and break down in the pot. At this point, I'll season with some salt and a little bit of black pepper. Now I add in my fresh herbs, some chive, thyme, and celery. And now I add in our Ice House frozen Callaloo bush. Remember, straight from the freezer into the pot. You don't need to defrost this. Straight from the freezer, directly into your pot. So if you look inside here, you would see some ends of Callaloo bush inside there stick up. And I mean, we ain't wasting none of that. So what I'll do is put a little bit of my coconut milk inside of here. And then just seal it. Give it a little shake. and pour that out. See a little home economics for you there? You ain't wasting nothing. Add in my coconut milk now. And last but not least, add in a little bit of ruku. And the ruku is my personal addition to Callaloo that does make it, you know, real best. Real Creole style. Right, so just gonna toss this up, make sure everybody getting along nicely. I'm gonna cover, and I'm gonna let this cook for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And we'll check back on it in a little bit. In the meantime, we're gonna get started with our sweet potato pie. So we have the callaloo going, so let's move on to the sweet potato pie. Just gonna open this up. And I mean, obviously, frozen sweet potato would be real convenient in a soup. So if you're making a nice little soup, this will come in real handy. You don't have to go through cutting up or peeling your sweet potato. But today we're doing a nice little sweet potato pie with it. So yeah, we have some nice bite-sized chunks of sweet potato, frozen sweet potato. And as I said, this would be perfect if you're making a nice little soup, a veggie soup, or whatever kind of soup, and you want to add some provision inside there. This will be perfect for it. But today we're doing a nice little sweet potato pie, so I'm gonna put these to boil one time. All right, so I have my water at a rolling boil. Just gonna add a bit of salt to the water and in with our sweet potato cubes. Again, straight from the freezer into the pot, no need to defrost. I'm gonna cover this kind of halfway so that it doesn't make a mess. And I'm gonna let this boil for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes and our sweet potatoes are done boiling. They look nice and tender here. So now I'm gonna strain this out and we're gonna continue making our sweet potato pie. All right, so I have my sweet potato drained and ready to go. Add in 3 cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of butter. Mixing that butter in, and you want to work with this while the potato is hot still so that your butter and everything melts and you get a nice, you know, mash going. And as you can see, because it's hot, I'm able to mash it with a spoon. I don't need to use a potato masher or anything like that. Going in with 1 cup of milk. Add in half a tablespoon of paprika, half a tablespoon of sumac. And sumac is a spice that you would find in a lot of Arabic dishes. Like if you buy Arabic potatoes at your favorite Arabic restaurant, yeah, sumac is one of those popular spices. If you can't get your hands on sumac, that's all right, you can leave it out. But, you know, it's a nice little spice to add to potato-based dishes. Sumac and potatoes just go really well together. Also add in 2 cups of grated cheddar cheese. And I'm using the spoon to mash the potato. I don't want it creamy, but I don't want huge chunks either. So we're going for a slightly rustic finish with this sweet potato pie. Now I want to transfer my sweet potato mixture into a greased baking dish. Just gonna smooth the top of this. And now I'm just gonna sprinkle some whole jeera on the top, because for me, jeera and potato is just, you know, a winning combination. So a little bit of jeera on top here. So now I'm gonna put this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. Okay, so 1 hour later, and this is how our callaloo is looking good. So now I'm going to switch it off, and we're gonna do this the old school way. Swizzle stick. Yeah, all you're making me work in this video. I saying all you. This is my decision. Nobody forcing me to do this. But yes, This will require some elbow grease. So here we go, old school way. And if you're as old as me, you would remember Holly T. That was Holly T? Yeah, it was Holly yet? Yes, Holly T. Holly Thomas. Yes, Holly Thomas. Sunday morning, he would always be saying, you know, making a callaloo, swizzle stick only, no blender. Thomas, you think we could get a nice little slow-mo shutter? Yeah, what's going on, Ollie? I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I tried this swizzle stick, and I don't know how my grandmother and mother used to do that thread. I couldn't use this immersion blender because, yeah, I had too much work. So, listen, shout out to all the mothers, the grandmothers, the fathers, anybody who was making callaloo, swizzling it by hand and getting a smooth, nice, creamy callaloo. Anybody who was doing that, hats off to all. All is the real MVPs. That is real upper body workout day. So, immersion blender for me. Sorry. Alright, so our sweet potato pie is out of the oven. We're looking good and smelling good. I had it cooling for a little bit, so now it's time to dig in. I'm gonna cut into this, serve it up with some of our callaloo, and yeah, get busy. So let me tell you, this definitely need to cool some more, but I real hungry, so although watch no face, right? Don't worry, for the final shot, I'm gonna make sure it's nice and cool and we get a nice clean shot, but right now, yeah, I'm hungry. So I'm digging in. Add a little bit of callaloo here, this side, and boom, is it there now? Sweet potato pie, callaloo, and dig in one time. The sumac with the jeera and the paprika in this pie working real well together. I didn't explain the flavor profile of sumac. I mean, sumac is not a very popular spice here, so you might be wondering what kind of flavor profile it has. And it's kind of tangy. You know, it almost have a kind of tangy slash citrusy kind of vibe to it, I find. So it add that to the dish, and of course the paprika add that smokiness, and the jeera just have that nice, earthy, warm flavor profile. Mix that in with the cheese, and the sweet potato, the sweetness from the sweet potato, real nice. And I'm gonna go in for some of this callaloo. Perfect. I'm gonna tell you, you wouldn't even tell that this was frozen callaloo bush. The thing tastes like it now cut up and thing. Real nice, perfect callaloo. And then, I mean, both of them together, perfect combo. This is our winner. So you see how easy this was to put together. Our lovely potato pie, sweet potato pie, using our sweet potato cubes from Ice House, and of course, the favorite, you know, our national dish. Maybe not the national dish, but definitely a top contender, traditional callaloo made with the frozen Dasheen bush from Ice House. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ice House for sponsoring this episode of Ice House products can be found at leading supermarkets nationwide. So definitely look out for these Ice House products in the frozen section of your favorite grocery or supermarket. And yeah, these are very convenient, you know, a great way to cut down on some of the prep time when you're making some of your favorite meals. So feed the imagination with these Ice House products, and look out for a link to the full recipe in the video description. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.